Hello, this is Samurai Lens, and today I will recap a sci-fi intense thriller movie called In Time. Spoiler alert, watch out, bring your drink, and take care. In a world where people stop getting old at the age of 25, there is just a plan to survive for another year. The rich always live, and the poor die in the streets before help arrives. Will Salsa take to the field to stop all this? Will he succeed in his goal? Will he be able to change the system of giving alone? The video we brought to you today is a thriller movie named In Time, released in 2011. The film was directed by Andrew Niccol. The IMDb rating for the film is 6.7 out of 10. The film begins with a voiceover that summarizes world events, where time becomes money. Technological discoveries have shown that people can prevent aging at the age of 25, but they are only genetically engineered to live one more year. Time is a currency that can be exchanged for goods and services. As time goes on, that person will die. Will Salsa is a young boy living in Dayton, a poor slum in the southwest of the United States. He works hard to spend time with his eternal mother, Rachel Salas. She turns 50 today, has a 2-day garment district job today. So she offers Will 30 minutes for lunch and promises that once she returns, they will celebrate her birthday. Everyone has a green digital clock on their hand, running out of time every second. He buys a cup of coffee on the way to work, but the price goes up. While walking to work, he sees dead bodies lying on the ground. He seals the metal to make the cassette. After his shift, he finds a lower salary and a higher quota, but his protest is of no use. At the bar, he meets his friend Borrell. He sees a guy named Henry Hamilton serving drinks, and, pointing to his arm, says, "He's got hundreds." Will understands that he is not from the ghetto, and he comes to him and warns him. The Minuteman, a gang that steals time, comes armed and ready to take the man's time. Fortis, the gang boss, is 75 years old. Will helps the man escape from the bar. The two run away from Minuteman and take refuge in an old building. Henry explains to Will the currency of time. It was developed as an anti-aging population control measure, but those individuals are still alive. He further added that inflation and poor wages have been used to limit the population. This money-circulating system has also allowed the rich to live longer than usual, while the poor are dying. Henry asks Will if he had all this time. Will replies that he doesn't waste time. Will urges Henry to rest and sleeps himself. Henry wakes up in the morning and goes to see Will, who is still sleeping, and devotes his whole life to Will. When Will gets up, he looks at his watch, which has crossed hundreds. He looks out the window at where Henry has written his last message, telling him not to waste his time. Will found Henry sitting on the bridge and thought he was committing suicide. He hurried out to stop him, but Henry's time was up and he fell into the ditch. Will, after seeing the streets cams, hurried home. Will comes to Borrell and tells him about his new time. Will offers Borrell a decade to be his friend. Borrell warned him that staying in Dayton for so long would kill him. Will tells him that he wants to take his mother to New Greenwich. Rachel wants to go home by bus after paying off a 2-month loan in Weiss because her son is waiting for her, but the price has gone up to 2 hours. She runs away in a panic because she has 1.5 hours left and her house is 2 hours away. Will waits for his mother at the bus stop, but she doesn't get off the bus. Then, out of fear, he runs after Rachel. The mother meets the son on the way, but she dies in the arms of her son. Will later hires a special stretch limo to go to Greenwich. It passes through 4 toll booths in the center of the magnificent modern city of New Greenwich, with rising prices. He rents a suit at the hotel. The next morning at breakfast, a girl was constantly checking on him. When Will asks the waitress about the casino, she points to the building in front of them and further suggests that he should change his attire. Timekeepers, meanwhile, pull Henry's body out of the nook. Raymond Leon reviews street camera footage. His co-workers ask him if he knows Will, and Raymond corrected him, saying that he knew Will Salas's father. Timekeepers look for Will Salas. Will meets Philip Weiss, the world's richest man, at a casino in Greenwich. Will puts everyone in a high-stakes poker game and wins for 1,000 years. Sylvia, Philip's daughter, looks impressed with him. Will attends Philip's party to meet Sylvia. He buys a Jaguar E-car and drives to West State on the beach. Philip introduces him to his daughter, wife, and his mother-in-law, who all looked alike because of their wealth. After escaping from security, Will gets a chance to entertain Sylvia. Sylvia agrees to take a swim with Will because she feels oppressed. Sylvia admits that she often wants to do something crazy. Philip comes to the beach in search of his daughter, and they hide. Will and Sylvia rejoin the party on time. Timekeepers disrupt Philip's party in search of Will. Raymond reclaims 1,000 years because he doubts Will's account. Raymond left after hinting that he knew Will's father. Will fights other timekeepers and escapes by taking Sylvia hostage. Raymond pursues them, taking risks from other timekeepers. Following the chase, Will derailed Raymond and fled to Greenwich with Sylvia. Minutemen sets a trap for them in Dayton when they return. While Will and Sylvia are unconscious after the car accident, Minuteman realizes that Will has little time left and is therefore useless. However, Sylvia has had it for almost a decade, so they take it. When Sylvia regains consciousness and looks at her watch, she is terrified because she has never had such a short time. Will assures him that ordinary people live their daily lives at this time. He takes her to Borrell to buy her time. While there, he discovers that Borrell had left his wife and infant child alone, bought drugs for decades, and then killed himself. Will sells Sylvia's diamond earrings for 2 days, but that's not enough. He calls Philip and demands a 1,000-year ransom for Sylvia's return. Raymond advises Will not to follow in his father's footsteps. Will finds out that his father also wants to do something for the poor. Raymond finds out where Will is hiding and promises Philip the safe return of his daughter. In Will's flat, he tells Sylvia that his father was a one-armed fighter with a time-consuming strategy. They let the opponent win first, then burn the arm and reverse the flow after coming down in the last few seconds. The next day, they wait for Philip to divide the time among the townspeople, but there is no activity. Will, seeing Sylvia frustrated, tells her that her father may have been stopped by the timekeepers, but she sees it as proof that he doesn't care. Will lets her go and urges her to call her relatives. He handed her the pistol because they are in the ghetto. When they separate, Sylvia calls her father. At that moment, Raymond arrives and almost shoots Will. Sylvia panics and shoots Raymond. Will surrounds her on time. Raymond, on the other hand, has very little time. Will transfers 4 hours of his time to Raymond, steals his car, and escapes. Sylvia tells Will that the police car can get attention easily, so they rob a limo and a blonde woman. Then they learned from the radio news that a reward of 10 years had been offered for their capture. The wounded Raymond fled the ghetto and confronted Philip. Raymond warned him that Sylvia's behavior would result in an arrest warrant for him as well. Raymond will arrest Philip if he tries to save his daughter. Will and Sylvia break into a Weiss bank and steal time cassettes. Sylvia also invites the people present there, saying that everyone will get time free of interest. The people of the whole town helped to empty the bank. Philip is helplessly watching the robbery report in a hotel when the two get close. Will feels something. He sees the timekeepers' team outside. They both run away, but Raymond chases them across the roof, not wanting to let them go. They bribe a bus driver to escape. They rented a motel all alone. Fortis and his crew keep shaking people until a young man confirms seeing the fugitives in their hotel room. Will and Sylvia tell each other how their lives changed at the age of 25. Fortis, meanwhile, enters with his men and challenges Will to the battle of death by hand. Will defeated Fortis in the manner described by Sylvia, pulled out a pistol from his boot, and killed Fortis's comrades. Will is worried about rising prices in the township. He thinks it will take 1,000,000 years to change the system. Sylvia tells him that she can find so much time. Sylvia comes to her father and claims to have surrendered. Meanwhile, Will enters Philip's guard and shoots him. They take Philip to his office and open the vault containing the 1,000,000-year-old cassette. Philip tries to convince them that someone else has to be sacrificed to survive forever. They return to Dayton after locking Philip in his office. The timekeeper chases them, but as they engage them, Will gives a Million Years cassette to Maya. Raymond chases Will and Sylvia to the countryside near Livingston without realizing he has little time. As Raymond surrounds them, he realizes that his time is up, and he falls in front of them and dies. Will looks at Raymond's police cruiser from a distance and transfers the timekeeper's time to him from the center console device. He runs to Sylvia and saves her from the passage of time. They have one more day. Residents of Dayton take Live for free from a cassette provided by Will and march to New Greenwich. Timekeepers leave the station after seeing the news. Sylvia leads Will to a huge bank where they bring up their weapons and continue their mission. Thank you for watching, guys. It was Samurai Lens, and I'm excited about the next movie recap video. Don't miss it. Subscribe and share it with your loved ones. See you next time.